Hi, I'm Ray Moore and welcome to Prod of the Week. What's Prod of the Week? Prod of the Week is just a gentle prod in our ribs just to look at something perhaps that we've been ignoring for a wee while. All the subjects that are discussed come out of either a coaching session with one of the clients or something we've discussed within the team, or perhaps something you might have read and jogged my memory. So this week, it's one of my regular prods, which is really around the numbers. I love numbers, and I appreciate that for a lot of business owners it can be a little trying. But what I really want to cover off today is really that modern computer systems produce so many numbers. And this particular one, I came across a company, I was talking to a company where they've religiously stored all the numbers, lots of numbers that have come out of the back end of the system, and they've extracted and put it into an Excel sheet. But they haven't done anything with it. They don't look at it. It's just been building up over the last year. But when questioned, it was very much, well, we can then compare it with last year. But actually not really getting anything out of it. It's just death by numbers. It gets to the point where it becomes so boring, it's not telling a story. So what we really need to understand is, what are the numbers actually telling us? What is the story? So we need to be able to analyze out those numbers. So let me give you an example. Supposing we worked out a KPI, say it was an average invoice value or an average transaction value. Say it was £10. What does that tell us? The reality is absolutely nothing. It's just a figure. But actually, if next week it became £9.50 and the following week it was £9.30 and the following week it was £8.50, it starts to tell us something. It's starting to pick up the trend. So numbers for numbers' sake are pointless. It's really looking at the trends. Now, so often trends can get confused by looking at the trends on, say, a monthly basis. And then we're caught in the fact that, unfortunately, our calendar is based on the Gregorian calendar, which was 500 years ago. It might have been fit for purpose back then, but in the day-to-day reality of life or in business, trying to compare one month to another month is like trying to compare apples with pears, because February might have 28 days or 29, depending on a leap year, and then we've got 30 days. And it gets even more confused when we look at the number of working days in the month, if we're only working Mondays to Fridays, because it depends when the weekends fall. So looking at a straight month-on-month analysis is nigh on impossible. So what I would suggest, this is the prod really, is to start looking at the numbers every week. Now's not the time to give a list of all the various KPIs you can look at. But if you start collecting them weekly, and then start to combine them into 4 weeks. For me personally and all my clients, 4 weekly trends then become meaningful. 4 weeks, there are 13 4-week periods in a year, rather than 12 calendar months, which are all uneven. We can then compare period 1 against period 1 last year, against period 1 the year before, or period 1 against period 2. But we've got the same length of time, 4 weeks. So that's really the prod of the week, is just take a time out to look at what numbers you are actually looking at. How do you compare one period to another? It's all about the trend. How can you pick up trends? And to some extent, it's if we don't measure, how can we know the impact of when we change things? So the mantra has got to be measure and then test. and then measure what comes out of it so that we can pick up the things that have a positive impact and do more of them, and pick up those things that maybe have a negative impact and stop doing them. So that's the prod of the week. Hope you've enjoyed it. I'll speak to you soon. Bye bye now.